Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday lunchtime, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with feelings. And the feelings that I wanted to talk about today are the feelings about, are you ready? Because we've got what I call the silly season about to start, and that requires a lot of planning and a lot of organizing and a lot of um, stress, unless you're already ready. And are you already ready? That is my question. So, hi there, Jody. For those who don't know, Jody is our admin and she looks after us really well. And happy Friday the 13th. And I wanted to actually start with it, which is how many of you are superstitious? And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to leave the comments there, um, because um, superstition is something I think that is taught to you. All right. So if your parents were superstitious, the chances are that you are. I had an incredibly superstitious mother, and I managed to train myself out of being superstitious. And I wonder how you are about that. It's a funny thing, isn't it? When I think about it, the things she used to do, if it was a full moon, we had to go outside with her as children. And we had to turn over the money in our pockets. She gave us money to put in our pockets. You had to, and we got to keep it. That was fun. You had to turn over the money in your pockets and then turn around 3 times and then curtsy to, oh, that was for a new moon. So there we go. Hi, Charlie. Good to see you. So, are you superstitious, and would you agree that it is something that is taught to you? Uh, I mean, to me, it's just like, when I think about it, it's quite scary, quite honestly. Um, but maybe you grew up differently. Just before we get into the main part of this, yeah, happy Friday 13th to you too, Charlotte. The birthdays I know Jeannie's grandson has a birthday on the 24th, and I think he's going to be 5 this year. I could be wrong. And then Jamie's birthday is also on the 24th. And then, of course, on Halloween, that's going to be Kerry's birthday. So, for those of you who know Kerry. So, if you have a birthday that I haven't mentioned and it's coming up before the end of October, please let me know, because it means it's not on our database and I would like to have it there. That's if you're a regular viewer or a regular listener. And I say a regular listener because not everybody watches the broadcast when I do it live. Some of you I know watch it on the replay. And in terms of that, you do housework or something while you're listening to it. Doesn't really matter. All I want to know is if you consider yourself a regular and I've missed your birthday, please let me know. All right, now talking of Jeannie, I've just got to ooh and ah a moment. Uh, I sent Jeannie some soap, and she loved it so much that she wrote back to me and said, please make me a full loaf. And she liked the seashore one. That's the one that has the shells on top. Can you see the shells on there? But what I wanted to show you was that can you see that it's see-through here? I don't know if you can see me moving behind here. Can you see this? What can I do? Something dark behind it maybe will show it up better. There you go. Can you see that? Um, ah, and she requested, this is a custom made soap for her. She requested lemon ginger. What a great choice for this soap. So, so she's got a whole loaf going her way. Uh, and I've had such joy making it. There's something about custom making a soap for somebody. It means that every step of the way I'm talking to them. If anybody were happened to be in my house, they think I've quite gone bonkers. But I sort of say, well, do you think you'd like this? And what I did. Wait 1 second. What I did, because it was a custom loaf, I actually customized the label. So I don't know if you can see, but I actually put the label on there that it's Jeannie's Seashore, this one, because it was custom made. So now, did I have to do that? No, of course not. But did it give me great joy to do it? You bet. So just so that you know, if any of you want to do custom soap for Christmas, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I won't have time if you don't think about it pretty darn soon. All right. Yeah. So Jodi's saying about superstitious. I grew up hearing different superstitions from my grandmother, like don't put a hat on a bed, don't open an umbrella in the house. Yes. What was another one? Don't stir with a knife. It stirs up strife. Yeah, all those sort of one-liners, right? And yeah, that thing about what was it? I know that I met one person that you weren't allowed to sit on your bed with outside clothes on. You know what I mean? With daytime clothes on, you weren't allowed to sit on your bed. Wow. Can you imagine that one? Yeah, that's very good. Charlotte saying that this looks like Maine influenced. Oh, by the way, if you see the side, you can see all the different layers in it. Those are all the different layers. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the top layer, just so you know, the sand. Duh. Why am I doing it the difficult way? Okay, the sand layer has got oatmeal. Got to think. It's got oatmeal, shea butter, and coffee for a little bit of exfoliant in it. So there you go. Anyway, so hope that she has fun with us. Yeah, Charlotte's mentioning don't walk under a ladder. Uh, so, oh, and Jodi's saying that's just about perfect. Well, you know what happens to me is every time I make one, I think about what will I like to do next time. And I'm thinking I would like to make this see-through section much bigger for those people who are not allergic for aloe vera. And then I'm going to see if I can find some tiny little molds for fish. And don't you think it would be gorgeous to have fish swimming in it? If not, I would do a sandy layer at the bottom and then put some of the seashells in the bottom. And then maybe some little plants if it's possible. But I think, I'd rather go with little fish. Yeah, I think that would be so cute. Even for adults, it would be cute. It would mean one less layer to pour, except I'd have to pour it in two parts, because I'd have to pour a little bit in and then put the fish in, and then pour a little bit more and put different fish in, so they were swimming at different levels. That's going to be a major thing for me now. All right, how about this? Lee Maynard said, I love autumn, the one season of the year that God seemed to have put there just for the beauty of it. As long as you don't have to sweep up the leaves. that was my addition. Lee Maynard didn't say that. But it is true, isn't it? So what we're going to talk about is how many of you enjoy Halloween? I personally am not a Halloween person. Don't know why. I guess we didn't do a whole lot in my house for Halloween, because it's not one of those things that yeah, I'm bigger, and I live in a retirement community. So from that perspective, we don't have a lot of kids coming around for trick or treating, thank goodness. But I know a lot of you love that. So how many of you are looking forward to trick or treating, or how many of you don't do that anymore? I mean, it's just a case of, is it in your wheelhouse, as they say? Yeah, Jodi's saying I've never been a Halloween person, but the candy is cool. So far, Jodi, touch wood. I don't know about you, but real wood is getting scarce to find in my house. I got a breadboard. That always helps. Um, but yeah, I haven't bought Halloween candy yet. Please notice the word yet. And I want to tell you, I know that for those of you in the USA, you've got Thanksgiving coming, and we're going to talk about that. But we had our Canadian Thanksgiving last weekend, and on Monday, I went over to my neighbor here for Thanksgiving dinner, and that's always a wonderful meal. And they cooked a full bird with all the trimmings, and I took over, some, cucumber salad, cucumbers in yogurt and mayonnaise and stuff, and ziti, is it called, Jody? I think I pronounced that incorrectly, but anyway, but I took some of that over, and uh, because they always have, you know, fresh beet or beetroot, depending which country you're in, and those sort of things, and so I did a cool salad as well. Yeah, Jody's saying that she's only ordered one bag of Halloween candy. So well done, Jody. And if you can manage to do one per day, you'll be doing very much better than I can. I must admit, though, that after I finished the after I finished the Thanksgiving dinner on Monday, I found Tuesday was a really bad day for me. Uh, I went out. Tuesday is the day that I have as my go out day, and I go out to charge up the battery in my car and do errands. I try to only go out once or twice a week to save gas. And so what I did was I went out, and then I foolishly went into Walmart to change. I had bought some comfy loungers to wear in the winter, and that's part of my get ready for winter thing. And I went to go and exchange them, and I'll show you what I exchanged them for, because I couldn't get the next size up. And of course, then I got hit with, oh, look at that, that's pound cake. Then I found a Mars bar. Well, yeah. And so I had what I call a carb day. And I don't know if any of you are trying not to eat carbs, but Jody will tell you that every now and then it's not a bad idea to have a carb day. So if you're going to do carbs, enjoy them. And so I had pound cake, and I had sugars. I had the Mars bar, and there was, oh, yeah, and caramel corn. I consumed nearly a whole bag of caramel corn. I hid the rest of it. Where did I hide it? Oh, yeah. So I consumed that much caramel corn, and a serving is three quarters of a cup, and it's 240 calories right there. And I got a feeling that's at least a couple of cups worth that I had, and I thoroughly enjoyed. And this from somebody who's pre-diabetic. Now, here's the interesting thing. This is something, as I said, that Jody taught me. If you have a day and you just go, okay, fine, this is my carb day, and that's okay. I'm allowed a carb day every now and then. Just don't do it every day. And if you can, try and finish what you've got. Oh, I had some candy as well that I saw, and rather fancy. Just a thing of that wasn't very much. So I tried to get through it all, because what do I know? If I finished it, I won't be buying it again until I next go in person, and can't resist it. That's why I do my shopping online. I don't buy candy very much when I'm online. But the reason I'm telling you this story is the next day, was it, Jody, that I decided to take my blood sugar. By the time it got to the evening, I was guzzling water by the gallon to try and flush it out of my system. And then I thought, something, I need to check. And what I did was that night I checked next morning, I checked my blood sugar. And the good news was it was actually normal. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I'd had that much sugar and carbs. And the next morning, or maybe it was late afternoon, but whenever I took it the very next day, it was back to normal. And I went, whew. Anyway, so there we go. Uh, all right. So for those of you who do Halloween, um, I'm not sure. Have you got the candy, and what else would you need to be prepared for with? Have you got your outfit that you're going to wear? Have you got, um, I'm trying to think. Have you got your scary stuff out on the front porch? All those sort of things. Are you prepared? And, here at Dear Mama Sal, we've got a saying, which is be prepared, not scared. So you've got a couple of weeks left to get organized. So all those things. And I recommend if you do Halloween, do it this week. In other words, get your checklist out and go through it this week so that you're ready for the end of the month. Which brings us to American Thanksgiving. Big, big thing, I know, for those of you in the States. By the way, one of the fun things about going across the road, next door here, for Thanksgiving dinner is they're game people. They love to play games. And we ended up playing Super Boggle. Now, Boggle is a game where you have dice, and the dice have letters on them rather than numbers or dots. They have letters on them. And you shake the thing up, and it drops down, and then you have to make as many words as possible out of, normally it's, I think, a set of 9. They had the super version of it, and the super version is like this big. I would think it must have had 18. 12 or 18 anyway. I would think 18. It was real, and you just knew that there were so many words and everything, and it has a blank. I mean, how about that one? If you've ever played Boggle, to have a blank in there that you can use for whatever you like. And in fact, I said, as a final Boggle, when we'd played it for a while, I said, just for the fun of it, how about for the final one, we do the 3 minutes, but then we turn it around 2 places and then set it going again. Because I don't know if you've noticed, depending on where you sit, you see totally different words. Depending on where you sit, you just see totally different words. And so we did that for the final one. But the thing is that they are very competitive people. All right. And I kept thinking that, that's a bit like life, isn't it? Depending on where you sit, you see life differently. And so some people love autumn, and some people love Halloween, and some people love Thanksgiving, and some people don't. And that doesn't make you good or bad. It's just the way that your boat floats, So we've got 5 weeks to American Thanksgiving. That means you've got a week to plan it, and then you've got a month to do it, if you know what I mean, to order the food and all the rest of it. Now, I've been very proactive this year. I'm quite surprised at myself. I've decided that this year I am not going to be lonely over the fall and winter. And when I say lonely, I mean I have nearly filled up my November calendar to have somebody come, one person come every week for November. That's my goal. Or I go to see somebody else, but every week I have one social event planned. And I'm so proud of myself because that requires effort on my part. And we know that, very soon everybody's going to be so booked up. I decided I was going to do it early. And what I'm going to try and do is get at least one in December other than Christmas. So we'll see. And the easiest one to do would be somebody who's single, and also, maybe would like a visitor or, would like to visit. You know what I mean? Sometimes a single is easier than a couple. Now then, I'm going to start on some of my things that I do round about this time of the year in case you will find value in it. I know this is one of Jodie's favorites. Wait. And it is the simplest trick. And after I did it one year, I thought, how come I didn't think to do this before? I take a piece of paper towel and I fold it in half and then in half again and then in half one more time. Okay, so now it looks like this. It's like V-shaped. It's like V-shaped like that. And now I drop that into my window ledges. So when the condensation drips down my window, it hits this and gets absorbed, and then the heat of the room will evaporate it. Or if it's if it gets really cold and the moisture is bad, as soon as that changes color, I can just pop it out and drop another one in. Now I know Jodie did it a couple of years ago, and just also wondered why she'd never done it before in her life, because it's so simple, and you don't end up. Yeah, Jodie's saying so simple, but it really makes a difference. Yeah, so what I do is if I know that window's not going to open again until spring, one of these goes in. Right. First of all, I clean it with some antiseptic, and then put one of those in. Most of them I don't need to change. I don't know about you, Jodie, because you're in New Hampshire and you're in an older house. I know that. So you may need to change yours more often. But I actually, most of mine I don't change at all. I think I've got one that I need to change normally. It's the coldest part of the house, and so therefore the temperature change is the greatest there. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Now then, how many of you don't like this time of year because the spiders come looking for a new home? And I did a bit of research into this, and on my list for this fall is to where did I put them? Okay, don't worry about it. I'll talk about it, not show you. To get some horse chestnuts. In England, we called them conkers. So they are sort of this size, and in New York, they roast them this time, in the winter. But did you know that spiders don't like them? The smell of them. And apparently, they also don't like walnuts. So if you want to keep the spiders out for the most part, put some conkers down or some horse chestnuts, or put some crushed walnuts in a muslin bag and just drop them at the points of entry where you think they're likely to come in. Maybe floor vents, maybe close to a door, in the corner, behind a door. Just put it in the corner, and so. Yeah, Jodie's saying I never knew that, and I grew up in Western New York. Those horse chestnuts were everywhere. Yes, that's why I mentioned New York, because I think it's the only city I know of that does that, roasting horse chestnuts the way that they do. Don't think they even did that in England. So I love this quote, because to me it epitomizes everything that we need to do at this time of the year. It says, "Love the trees until their leaves fall off. Then encourage them to try again next year." I mean, I don't know about you, but it's so cute. It's like, okay, well done. See if you can do better next year. I don't know why. I just thought that was the greatest quote. Let me see what else I've got for you here. I've got lots for you. Um, ah, how many of you got your winter clothes out already? I'm very proud of myself. All my winter clothes are now out of their containers, and the very last load, because what I do is, I sort of do this as a process starting in October. Um, and I will first week I will take out one container. I've got them in small containers, by the way. I take out one container and take out, maybe a couple of sweaters, and then I'll add them to my wash that week. And then the next week I take out another container and add that to my wash. And yesterday I put in all my warm pants, long pants, and I'm amazed how many I've got between sweatpants and for some reason, many years ago, I bought a whole series of corduroy pants from Land's End. Boy, their stuff lasts. And I don't care whether cords are in fashion or not. All I know is they are the warmest winter pants, and I love them to bits. And I will continue to wear them, and people can, make comments about them. I don't care, but because they're so warm. And so what I was amazed at is how many pairs of pants do I have? Now, you and I both know 7 pairs would be plenty. I think I have more. I will count them and let you know on Sunday. When they've just in the dryer now, and when I take them out to hang them, actually I'm not going to hang them. I'm going to roll them. So I'm going to pack to go away, because those sort of pants, you can roll them and they don't crease, so it's great. And that means I can put them in cubies. I think I can get about 6 pairs of pants in a cubie. And so that's 2 cubies will be full of nothing but pants, which frees up my cupboard a lot. So the other thing was, I was telling you I went to Walmart to change. I bought what I call loungewear. Yeah, Jody's saying, I love Land's End. You can get some great deals when they're changing seasons. I used to wait every year for the change of season, Jody, and I used to be able to pick up those cords for $10. And the quality of Land's End, and all their seams are French seams. For those of you who don't know what that is, those are double seams. They're really strong. And so here I am, probably 20 years, maybe at least 20 years later, still using them at $10 a pair. I mean, you can't buy garbage pants at that price. So, hi there, Texas football. Hi, Chloe. Good to see you again. And you're just about due to pop a baby. Wow. How close to popping that baby are you? And is it your first? I mean, I know um, that's an important thing. Oh, you've had it. Oh, now you've had it. What is it? And is it wonderful? And are you getting any sleep? You had him 2 weeks ago, and it's your first, and you're struggling. That's why I said, is it, what number is it? Because the first one, I want to tell you, the funny thing is, and it is strange, all right? This first one is all you're learning. That I want you to think about it that way. Does he have a name? Okay. Reed. What a nice name. So here's the thing. Reed is your training ground, all right? And I just want you to know about that. That's what he's here for, to help you learn. And so the interesting thing is that you say it's amazing, but you're struggling inside. Postpartum, that's what they call it. This time after a birth, first couple of months uh, is very difficult, and be careful of your mental health. All right. And the reason it's so difficult is because it's such a high responsibility that you cannot train for. All right. Would you agree? There's nobody that can train you for how stressful it is to look at that little thing and know you are totally responsible for it and will be for the rest of its life. I don't care what anybody says. It's only until they're 18. After that, you let go. You don't. No, you don't. You don't. It's like you got a lifelong job there. And so, but here's the thing, Chloe. Thank you for talking about it. Thank you for telling us that you're struggling. So, do you want to tell us in what way you're struggling inside? See if we can help you a little bit. And I'm going to carry on the broadcast in between, but I would love us to take a couple of minutes to help you if you would value that. All right. So, if you would like some help on that, just talk to us. Moving on, while I'm waiting for that answer, the next thing I wanted to talk about was, I was going to show you. So I went to Walmart to go change over. Couldn't get the next size up in the. I bought loungewear, what I call comfy wear, and I couldn't get the next size up. So I bought a new one instead. And how many of you are going? That says, for those of you who can't see it, it says "Love to Sleep," and it's all brushed inside and out. It is so cute. And I'm thinking that will be so nice and warm in the winter. What do you think? The pants, really nice design on them as well. Oh, you probably can't see the design. Can you see the design? It's like cable. That's what it reminds me of, cable knitting. Yeah, so, and I've got to be quite honest, I think that was $24 for the set. I thought that was a good price. I may go back for a second one. All right, so Chloe's saying, most like in my head and refusing help, even though I need it, and feeling like I can't do this. But it's so fun at the same time. I know it's just a phase. Okay, here's the thing, Chloe. Number one, anybody offers to help you, say yes. Because if it's somebody who knows what they're doing, they've been there, done that, it will give you a chance to just breathe. All right, so Chloe's saying, all right, can I repeat that, Chloe? I just want to check, because that's family information. I just want to double check the thing about. All right, so what Chloe's saying is that she lives with family and they're offering to help her. And she just wants to do it herself. Now then, Chloe, this is called one of DearMamaSal's 2x4s, all right? If you refuse to help, don't complain that you're overstressed with too much to do, right? You can't have it both ways. I know you got to go, but just think about that, right? Either accept the help, and there's doesn't make you a bad mother to accept help, but otherwise you will be overwhelmed. There's so much to do the first time around. You will learn ways of doing it better, as you go along. And the second one will, if you have a second one, will be a lot easier. And then the third one is just like, really. So here we go. Look after yourself and look after your mental health, and come back and chat to us if you need to vent about anything. All right? And if you need to talk to me during the week, just DearMamaSal@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And, bless your heart. And you and Reed, I hope you have a wonderful week. So, carrying on. So I've already got myself my first winter outfit, and it's my loungewear. I've decided, that I really want to be warm this winter. I was a bit chilled last winter, and I'm not going to do that. By the way, for those of you who saw that I bought myself a couple of those little small space heaters, they're about this size. I've already got them in a couple of places, and they just are taking it's we haven't got down into single digits yet, but we're close. Oh, not single digits in American. Hold on, wait a minute. I've got to get my cheat sheet out. We are down at night to about, yeah, and we're just dipping out of the 50s into the 40s at night, for those of you in America. And I'm certain for Jody, you're probably dipping down lower than that on the East Coast. So um, I'm on the West Coast of Canada. So that's, we're beginning to go that way. And I just decided this year I'm going to use, my furnace was broken. And what I've decided last year, I just used my gas fireplace to heat most of the house. And then now this year, I had one little space heater in the bathroom. Jody, I know that you did the same thing, right? You bought a little ceramic heater just to heat up your bathroom. What I want to know is how often do you say to yourself, what did I do before? Do you ask yourself, why didn't I do this years ago? Because I don't know about you. I know that the temperature is dropping because my little space heater in my bathroom is thermostatically controlled, and I notice it's just blipping in and out now. It's not staying on, but it's just, starting to want to work. So that's a good one. So I had that one, and last year I bought one small ceramic heater that you plug in to the wall socket, and that did well. So this year, I bought another one for where I sit by my computer, and so that the fireplace doesn't have to do as much work. I'm not sort of warming up the whole house. I'm just warming up the extra bit in the places where I'm likely to sit. So I got one in the center of the house near where my craft room is, the craft area is, and then in my bedroom I have an oil-filled heater, which I've had for years, and I love it. Also thermostatically controlled. Yeah, Jody's saying yes, it makes an incredible difference. The heat in the bathroom hasn't worked for ages, right? Previously. So now she bought a little ceramic heater, and then she doesn't need to keep it on all the time. What she does is, if she knows she's going in there to do squeaky time, as we call it, to get squeaky clean, she turns it on, a little bit ahead of time, just to give it time to warm up the bathroom, and then goes and has her shower. So, you look at it and go, we don't have to spend as much. And in fact, what surprised me was I got a rebate on my electricity bill this year. I go on automatic payments every month, and I got a rebate of over $100. So it'll be interesting to see now that I'm going to not use the fireplace as much, and use the second space heater, little one, personal space, whether that drops or increases my usage overall, between the price of gas and the price of electricity, called hydro in Canada. So think about that. So clothes-wise, I got a lot of winter clothes. So part of my downsizing is when I finished with this load that is all the pants, I'm going to decide, do I need all of these, or am I going to donate some, because I know they'll be good for another 20 years. They're from Land's End, right? And then I've also got a couple of sweaters in there, a couple of tops. I don't think I'm going to be sharing those with anybody because I like those, and they're good. So how about this one? Stanley Horowitz said, oh, don't do that to me. Go back. Hate it when it does that. I got fat fingers. What can I say? It says, this is so funny. Um, it says, winter is an etching, spring a watercolor, summer an oil painting, and autumn a mosaic of them all. And I don't know about you, but that painted the most gorgeous picture in my mind. And isn't that the truth? All right. So when you look at it, are your winter clothes ready? And at the moment, I am now I'm packing the very last of my summer clothes away, and I'm amazed how few I have. In other words, I have downsized a lot of my summer clothes, and now I'm going to start downsizing my winter clothes this year, down to what it is. And it's called sweater weather for a reason. I personally, I don't know what you do, but I like cardigans because at least then you can, you know, if you get too warm, you can take one off. A sweater is all or nothing. So I'm inclined to wear tops with cardigans. And then when it comes to winter, the cardigans are thicker. And I'm going to treat myself to a new thick cardigan this year as well. So we've got 10 weeks until Christmas. Seriously, people, 10 weeks until Christmas. That's all. So I don't know about you, but that's not very many weeks. So I started to think about that and to do a bit of work. That means we got 3 weeks left until you need to get your overseas Christmas cards just about done and mailed. How many of you have even started, right? I haven't even started my Christmas cards this year, except I did them in January. Yeah, that's what I remembered. I went, wait a minute, I picked my Christmas card for this year in January and I made them in January. So I think I haven't got them ready, but I have. So that is awesome. I mean, it's just like, yay. The other thing that I've found very useful is I have now put all my Christmas list addresses into um, a format so that every year I can print out all the labels just in one go. I'm pretty certain that a lot of you do that as well, but it does save an awful lot of time and an awful lot of writing. So it's 3 weeks until the overseas cards need to be just about ready to go and gone. It's 5 weeks until the country next to you. All right. And so for me, it would be 5 weeks until the ones that need to go to the States. And then 6 weeks until the ones that are in Canada. So depending on where you live, all right, think about that because it sometimes, funny enough, I was absolutely amazed recently. I sent 2 parcels out, one to Tasmania at the bottom of Australia, a little island at the bottom of Australia, and another one to the east coast of Canada. And the one got to Australia before the one got to the east coast of Canada. So, in Canada, I'm thinking maybe I need to send them at the latest at the beginning of December. So I know you don't want to think about Christmas because Thanksgiving hasn't happened yet, but you need to if you want to get the Christmas cards out in time. Jim Bishop said that autumn carries more gold in its pockets than all the other seasons, all right? It seems like an awful lot of people like autumn. And then, here's another trick I found that I thought I would share with you. How many of you have a duvet or a comforter that you bring out for the winter? One of the things that I have found that is really useful is after I have done a wash, I've got a washing machine that's big enough that I can wash my duvet, and I try to do it twice a year. But if you don't, here's something I really recommend, which is if you do a wash, maybe your sheet wash, put your comforter or your duvet in when you're drying your sheets. Why? The steam from the sheets as they dry will then sanitize your comforter. Good idea? I now, I've been doing this now every time I change my sheets. I put my sheets in and I throw my pillows in so that my pillows are sanitized. Not the pillow covers, the actual, pillows that I sleep on and sweat onto. I just put those in with my sheets as they dry. It helps the sheets dry more quickly, but also it sanitizes the pillows and fluffs them up beautifully. Because I've got things in there that help fluff them up. So, and then that worked so well, I decided I would do the same thing with my pillows from my living room, just to give them a bit of a refresher. It's that time of the year. Now, I haven't done it yet, but I do have different colored sham covers for my big pillows on my bed. So that will be something that needs to get done this week. I just need to make a note of that, people. Hello? Notepad? I know you're here somewhere because I used you just before the broadcast. Where did you hide? There you are. Okay, so pillow shams, change. At the moment, I have canary yellow one, and now I will go to, I think I've got gold ones for the fall. So they will go on. And then I've got, oh no, I lie. I have got like a heather color, right? And then red ones for the winter. So listen to this one. Diana Galbanon from Outlander said, "It was beautiful, a bright autumn day with air like cider and a sky so blue you could drown in it." Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I can feel that. So duvet and winter. Now, I think I might try winter sheets this year because I do notice that my feet get cold. So I wondered if any of you are of an age where your feet get cold. And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to make a comment on this. What do you do to keep your toes warm? I seem to be, my duvet does a really great job of keeping me warm, but I'm of an age now where my extremities, my feet and my hands get cold much more quickly. Now, it doesn't matter about my hands because they're tucked up and close to my body, but my feet are a long way down from the heating system in my body, right? And I notice that they get cold. So one thing I found out is that shirling, hang on a second. This stuff does a really good job of keeping your feet warm. So I've got a throw blankie, a small one, that has shirling on one side. And what I found is that works really well. So sometimes I will, if my feet start to get cold, I will take that little throw rug and I'll put it down on my bottom sheet, then put my feet down and then cover my feet with the rest of it. And then, pull my sheets and duvet. And I found that does work. So if anybody's got another idea that works for them, let me know because I'm always looking for good ideas for that sort of thing. Oh, I just showed you my shirling slippers. Jody, I don't know about you, but mine are working really well. They are very warm and very comfortable. And I've learned to walk in them at long last. It's interesting. I've worn Birkenstocks sort of 24/7 for a couple of years. And then suddenly I went to wear a pair of slippers that are not Birkenstocks, and I had difficulty walking for some reason because they're not supported in the same way. But they're working really well. So thank you for that idea, and thank you for convincing me that it was worth getting the cheaper pair rather than going for the very expensive pair. I might still end up next year getting the very expensive pair because I think they will last a lot longer, but I could be wrong. So get your feet warm. And that's a really important thing. The other thing I have, hang on. Now, I wanted to show you this because when I had the fire, I bought this and I found it very useful in the winter. It's a what we used to call a poncho. Okay, so it's just, and it's made out of what do you call it? Tracksuit, not tracksuit, sweatpant material. So it's a fleece, and fleece is very warm, and I found it very useful if I have to quickly go outside to do something. You don't have to throw on a coat. I can just throw this on. The other thing is when I'm sitting watching television, I've got a big window behind me, and that gets pretty cold. So I find having this just is easy to put on and easy to keep warm. So, and I think I got that at Walmart. It wasn't expensive. So consider it. Or have a second throw that you don't put over your knees, that you put it around your shoulders. So think about that. And if you've got somebody in your life who is older, yeah, Jodi's saying, I have a wrap that is similar. I love it. It's called an angel wrap. Yes. So if you've got somebody who is older in your life, it's a really nice present for them if you're wondering what to get them for a present, because there's no doubt about it. They feel the cold. And the place where they feel it is in their legs and, around their shoulders. So good idea for a present and not that expensive to buy. Now then, have any of you ever winterized your geraniums? I think I got away with it one year and I forgot to do it last year, but I'm going to do it again this week. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my geraniums out of the planters and I'm going to clean all the dirt off them and then hang them upside down in my shed. And then every month I'm going to go out there and stick them in some water so that they can suck in some more water and then hang them upside down again. When you think about it, it only you need to do that about 4 times. And if it saves the geraniums, that's quite a cost saving. And obviously I would need to do it, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's like either that or I could bring them inside. And I think that's what I did last time. I cleaned them off, put them in new potting soil and brought them in. And I think I saved half of them that way, which again, if you think about it, is quite a cost saving. So give that a bit of thought. If you've got a garden, what are you going to save this year? I'm also got Ciora, my helper, that comes to help me with the garden. We're busy blocking in part of my covered deck and to turn it into like a more sheltered greenhouse area so that I can hopefully keep some of my plants alive in the winter. So, but that's a work in progress, little bit by little bit. So that was the garden. Do you know when your first frost is? For those of you who've got gardens, I think mine is considered to be, the first frost is considered to be November the 2nd or something. So it's coming up fast. So get things out of the frost zone. I probably can I've got quite a few things in hanging baskets, tomatoes and things in hanging baskets. So that means I can bring them in and keep them on my deck for probably another few weeks, for my tomatoes and things, which are still growing, by the way. great progress. So for those of you who've been following my progress, what I did was a couple of years ago, I wondered whether I could grow a tomato from the seeds of a store-bought tomato. The answer is yes, you can. And now, this summer, I've just about kept myself fed on tomatoes that I grew. By the way, for those of you who've been following my hydroponics, the peppers in the grow up, I've got a grow up going in my guest bathroom. Excuse me. I've got a piece of tomato. I got a piece of tomato skin that didn't go down. Doesn't want to go down. Wow. Try a bit more. This will be interesting. Oh well. So the peppers that I've been growing in my guest bathroom are doing really well, and they look like they're about to. They've already started to get flowers on them. Now I've been growing those peppers since late winter. Am I right? I put those in there, I think, in late winter, and that's how long it's taken them to get to that stage. But that's a learning process. And my question was, can I grow peppers myself? Because I notice I buy 1 or 2 peppers a month. I don't buy 6 or anything. 1 or 2 lasts me for the month. So that's what I wondered. Can I grow enough so that I can get 1 or 2? In which case, that would save me, some effort. And I love the deep green of the leaves. They're just wonderful. Jody, how's your basil doing? Jody decided that she was going to get some basil in a container. Lionel got her some. And it was just, so beautiful and green as well. And I've got hydroponically, just so I can keep showing you, this is basil growing in a wine glass. All right. I just love taste of basil. So hydroponically, things are going well, and we'll talk about that more later. But now then, here's the next thing. How many of you have got a hall closet? Is it time in October to maybe take everything out of the hall closet and give it a really good, winter clean as opposed to a spring clean, or give it a fall clean? All right, so Jody's saying that they had a little bit of a problem with their basil because Jody suffered from a really major migraine this week. You know something? Get a packet of seeds, Jody. Put a packet of basil seeds on your shopping list. All right, so that you can start growing for the next batch. How is your tomato doing? Because I know that you put a tomato in there just to see if you could grow a tomato. And did that also go the way of... I've actually managed to revive mine a couple of times when I forgot about them. So let's hope that you can do that. And so my thing will be, I'm going to clean off my greenhouse window, and I'm going to be putting I've got a thing of herbs, and that's going to go in there this year. So Jody, just so you know, mine are very slow growing inside and outside, but they're good. And The other thing is, I think you know that I put my celery in, and just so I can take the leaves um, and use them for a couple of leaves in a stew or something. And here is this month's celery, looking good. Happy with that. It's all about cost saving for me. And okay, so I'm talking about your hall closet. If you've got a hall closet or wherever you keep your boots, your winter coats and things, right? Think about it. Think about taking everything out. How long will that take to take everything out? Probably 5 minutes, right? To take everything out. And that's a really good thing. Just take everything out and dump it. It's in your hallway. You'll get it back in there pretty darn quickly, because you will not want your hallway looking like that in case anybody visits. So then, but before you put everything back, how about just taking some even disinfectant cloths, the ones that I find they're very useful for cleaning a cupboard. All right. And so, the ones I mean, like the Clorox one. Just, quickly wipe down the walls, wipe down everything, see if you've got any visitors in there that you don't want, that's one of my goals for this week, is to clean out that cupboard. Just take everything out and start again. The other thing is only put half of it back. So again, I've already got a big tote full of coats that I want to donate. Actually, I'm taking my good coats to a secondhand place, a high-end secondhand place, so that I can get some money on them. But the other ones I will be donating. And if the secondhand place doesn't want my coats, I will donate them to people who need warm coats. So think about that. The other thing is, I try to make a point of every winter donating one sweater for the same reason, all right? But it's interesting. I've got one sweater that Yvonne gave me. She must have given it to me 15 years ago. And it's already got, I've already had to darn a hole in it and things, but I do not want to throw that away. I wonder if it's because Yvonne gave it to me. Possibly. All right. But it's really quite cute. So what have we got next on here? So yes, your boots. All right. If you've got winter boots or even rain boots or whatever, how about getting those out? Give them a good clean inside and out. Make sure we haven't got visitors that decided to crawl in there and make a web or do whatever. So I like to take a Swiffer and put it inside and really clean that, and then put a disinfectant hand wipe thing in there and just clean it out and let it air. The other thing is rolled up newspaper goes really well to keep your boots standing up. The other thing that works really well is a paper towel holder. Or rather, let's do that. The inside of a paper towel. It works really well to keep your boots standing upright. So I never throw those away. I find them very useful for all sorts of things. I store my chopsticks inside one of those. I store my bamboo sticks inside. You know what I mean? They're really useful for storing. And you can then put them in a cupboard like this, and it's so easy to get to them. So just another tip. All right, so I wonder how long it'll take me to get to that cupboard. I've got so many other things on the go at the moment, but never mind. It's on my list. Next thing. Do you know that, for those of you who've got an Alexa, do you know that you can use Alexa in an emergency? You can set it up so that you can talk to your Alexa and tell it to phone your emergency contact. I didn't know that. I haven't got mine set up to do that because I've got this. I've got an emergency that I wear that automatically does that, but also calls 911. But I thought it interesting that some of you might not know that you can actually then shout at Alexa to phone your emergency contact. And I've got to look into that a bit more. Now then, for those of you who've got cars, just remember it's a good time to have it serviced before the winter comes. Alexa thought I was talking to her. Silly me. Should have done that more quietly. But it's good to know that I am a room away and she heard that. So that's good to know. All right. So get your car serviced if you've got one. And this is why I like to wear a cardigan. I'm warm now. The reason that I get warm doing the broadcast is this cupboard, you can't see it, but my computer is in a cupboard. This cupboard backs onto the chimney stack of my fireplace. So the heat at the back of the chimney, right, comes this way. And this ends up being one of the warmer places. Yeah, it's up to 76 now. That's why. So that's why I suddenly feel very warm. Okay, so cars. If you've got a car, good idea to have it serviced now, change the tires probably next month. And then, look after it. How many of you have looked after your cars well enough that it's kept you going for years? The reason I say that is because I did the math a long time ago. People say to me, why don't you get rid of your car? Why don't you get rid of your car? And I said, because my car costs me less than $2,000 a year to look after. In fact, yeah. And I said, that's including something major. Yeah, Jeannie's saying that her car has kept her going. Oh, she took away the message a long time. Yeah, I want to say I've had my car since the late 1999, early 1999. All right, and it's a big Jeep, V8 Jeep, leather seats, all the bells and whistles, and why would I change it? Right? It's just like the one thing I would actually think about is, and that's, if I thought about what is the one thing I'm missing that I would like, I might actually get myself one of those reverse cameras, and have them put it in my car for me. When next time I have it serviced, say, can you put in a reverse camera for me? That'd be interesting to do. It's about the only thing it hasn't got. When I think about what does a modern car have, I think I've got all the rest of it. Yeah, I take GPS with me because it's in my phone, so I don't need that. It's just like, wow. So don't be in a hurry to get rid of a good. What is a reverse camera? Okay, it means I can sit here, look at the road, but I've got a camera. If I want to reverse, it actually shows me what's going on behind me, and it actually shows me how close I'm getting to something. Did that describe it? So if I'm parking, it will show me how close I am to the car or the sidewalk or whatever. And it actually has sort of like lines. Yeah, you've seen that, right? So I don't know how expensive they are. Jody, could you have a quick look to see, sort of roughly what ballpark they're in? I would think a couple of hundred probably. But that would be the one thing that I would quite like to have. Oh no, I'd like them to fix my driver's side door lock. That's another thing. So those are two things I might invest in. And by the way, maybe think about new wiper blades for your car. Okay. Yeah, Jeannie, the way I look at it is it's a really useful tool to have, especially at our age. All right. And hey, if it makes driving easier, why not? So take the car in, have it serviced, get new wiper blades ready for the winter. I've already been advised, I don't know about you guys, but I've been advised that my next flu vaccine is ready and that I need to go get it. I'm on the list now, that they automatically tell me because I'm vulnerable. And Jody, have you been advised? Is that right? Jody's saying I can get a backup camera for anywhere from 50 to 150 bucks. That's American. So that would probably be from about 100 to 200. Oh, Jeannie's already got her flu vaccine. I've booked mine to happen at the end of the month, I think. So, well done. Do you get yours for free in the States? Or do you have to pay for it? One of the things I find fascinating is when I go in to have my flu vaccine, they normally say, and Sal, because you're vulnerable, we also have this, this, and this available for you. And I just end up like a pincushion, but I've got it all. All right, so Jody, as well as being advised, and Lionel, have you had yours, Jody? And Lionel's had his. Okay, so that's a good thing to have at this time of the year. Now then, I was so impressed with myself. I booked for my vaccine, my mammogram at last. I got a date, but it's in November. But I got a date to have my mammogram done. And then I also have to go back to the cancer clinic in November as well, and to the physio, so they can check that my range of motion and everything hasn't deteriorated. So November's a busy day for me, months for me in terms of medical stuff, but good idea. How about your workout routines? All right. Are you going to start again this season? Oh, Jody's saying she hasn't had her flu shot yet, but get one at the pharmacy. Yes, I'm booked to have mine at my local pharmacy. Actually, if I go in there to do something else, they'll probably just give it to me anyway, because they look after me really well. I don't know why. Maybe because I always pop in with some soap while I'm there. I go, anybody need soap? No. By the way, I went to go to my post box because I was going to Walmart, which is close to where I keep my post box, which is about 20 minutes away. And the funny thing is that I always put a couple of soaps in my pocket so that if my favorite people are at the post office, then I just go, here's a soap. I just take little ones for them. All right, Jeannie's saying last year we had to wait for months to get flu shots. So this year I called very early on, to make the appointment. Well done. I'm proud of you. I've also booked my A1C, by the way. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. So think about your workout routine. All right. Now, Jeannie, I'm pretty sure that you are walking more because of Stella. Jody, I want to remind you that you used to do really a lot of work with just your arms. So, think about that. So it's a case of if you can't walk properly or stand properly. I'm actually quite surprised. I've put more weights into my dumbbells. So my dumbbells, where are they? I don't want to tell a lie on this. I want to make sure I give you the right figure. My dumbbells are 2 kilos. Actually, they're 4.5 pounds in each one. And now I'm doing 2 different things. I think you all know I've got an under-desk bike that I have set up so I can binge watch and just bike for half an hour. It's all I need, half an hour. Sometimes I do it in 2 15-minute segments during the day, but I know that half an hour of being on that bike will put 3,000 steps in. Very easy way to top up my steps. The other thing I'm now doing is whilst I'm biking with my feet, I am doing strength training, all right, with my arms. Now, obviously, I've got 2 sets of 4.5 pounds. So when you think about it, a year ago, I had a mastectomy. To be able to lift 4.5 pounds now. And by the way, what I really like is that I can actually stretch all the way out and to the back of my couch holding 4.5 pounds. And now I can, look at that, I can actually hold it that way as well. And I found out I can hold it all the way back. Okay. And this is the little bit of swelling that's still left from the operation. Can you see that? Anyway, so the good news is that's how strong I have become. So now what I do is I pedal with my feet, and then I'm now doing weight training. And then once or twice a week, I'm doing weight training without doing the biking. Yeah, Jeannie's saying that's wonderful. New Sal, that yeah, I'm stronger. Yeah, I'm way stronger than I was. I'm now considering getting myself. I'm not gonna. I will work with these for fall and winter, but in the spring I might go to 5 pounds. You know, get the next set up. And what I like about this is, you know, I wanted to do some weight work while I was standing, and I didn't want to put too much strain on my back, so I just took one weight out of each end so that I had, you know, a lighter one to do it with. Okay, and that's what I like about these is that you can, you know, they work from sort of 2 pounds up to 4.5 just by the number of weights you've got in them. So I've changed my routine. I'm now doing more weight work. I'm not able to get up and down off the floor easily yet, but I'm working on that. You know that. That's a work in progress. But to my surprise, you remember I said one of the big issues that I had is I could kneel down on the floor, but I couldn't get my butt to my heels. How many of you remember me talking about that and how sad I was about that? And that I started to do, get down on my knees and then just go back a little bit. All right. And now I'm probably this far away from my heels. And I would think 3 months ago, I could hardly go back, never mind sit down on my heels. So something's working there. I'm really pleased. And my goal is to be able to touch my butt to my heels. And that will mean that I have stretched all these muscles, you know, here, and my knee muscles and my shins and everything. You know, I'm really amazed. All right. Oh, Kimmy said that she's had the flu. I'm sorry to hear that, Kimmy. She said, I can't get down on my knees. My bones in my knees hurt. Yes. And that's why I've got hip bones that hurt a lot. But, you know, I'm not going to let that stop me, because if I don't use my hips, it'll get worse, not better. So that's what I'm doing, everything I possibly can. By the way, can you do this, Kimmy? Because I found this works really well. Stand next to countertop where you're safe and just stretch. It'll still stretch here and can I get far enough away so you can see? Hang on a second. Can you see that? It's stretching the back of my calves and my ankles as well, right? And all I do is, you know, I've got planks on the floor here. So I just stand at a particular place. And at the moment, I cannot get down far enough for my knees to go there. So I go half a plank and I touch it nearly. There, go a quarter. That's half a plank now. I can do that one. Okay, so 3/4 of a plank. Oh, yes, I can do 3/4 of a plank. So you don't have to go on your knees. All right. So keep stretching those muscles. Why? The more you use them, the longer they will work. And it's so easy to not bother because they hurt. Obviously, check with your doctor what exercises that he recommends, or if you've got a physio person. I know my physio person is always amazed what I've been up to, but they don't know me very well. So remember that thing about book visits and visitors. So either book to visit people or book to have people come visit you so that you're not alone at Christmas. Oh, interesting. Thanks, Kimmy. Kimmy said yes, and you will stretch them out so you don't get cramps. Yes, another important thing. And by the way, just do one, all right? I've just got one foot forward, and now that's stretching all the back on this one and stretching the top of that one. And then the same thing. Ooh, that works. All right. So if you can't get down on the floor, it's difficult for me. But I need to get down on the floor because I need to practice more and more. I'm doing it quite a bit. So that's my goal over the winter, is to be able to, by the end of the winter, I want to be able to get on the floor and get back up again without too much help. I don't need to panic about how do I get off the floor here. And that requires my hips and all those muscles in my lower leg. So I'm going to do it. You know that. Right. If you don't like doing exercise, set up a cleaning routine. What I've really worked out is that it's about movement. It's not about going for exercise. If you possibly can, go outside and take 10 to 15 minutes of fresh air every day. How you do it, I don't really mind. If you just want to go out and lean against the door, and breathe in while you're playing a game, then do it. But breathe fresh air in during the winter. All right. I know it's a pain because you've got to get warm clothes on and things like that. But boy, does your health need it. And remember what Benji taught me. All right. Remember about breathing through your nose while you're out there. Right? Breathe the air in through your nose. All right. So Kimmy is reminding everybody about RSV. All right. Make sure that you are protected from RSV. That's a respiratory thing. And Jeannie's saying Stella likes to go out in the early morning and she can listen to the owls. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Yeah, there's something about a dog that makes you want to go out, right? Whether you like it or not. And you get to breathe fresh air in every day. So concentrate, Jeannie, while you're walking, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. That's what Benji said. We will pick up a lot less viruses. Part of the reason why we pick up viruses is because we're breathing in through our mouths, not through our nose. And our noses are built to filter out the germs. So think about that. I've been practicing it more and more, and it's difficult to remember to do that. I also, of course, notice that I don't always sleep with my CPAP machine. I have one. And I notice that when I wake up, when I haven't been using it, I feel very different in the morning because I've been breathing through my mouth, not through my nose. When I've got a CPAP machine on, it's forcing air down my nose, so that's good. Wonder what that is. Oh, change of fragrances. Yeah. How many of you like to have fragrances in your house? So maybe it's time to start thinking about, we're talking to getting now towards Halloween and so forth. What about we get some of the apple spice or apple pie fragrances in now? All right. And I must say that I just put mine in a small mason jar, and just drop some in there and put it on my cup warmer. And that works really well. Kimmy's saying, we know about flu and COVID, but not so much about RSV. in adult and elderly people with health conditions like heart and diabetes. Yeah. I must admit, Kimmy, I'm really lucky. As I said, when I go to the pharmacy for one, they go, okay, so you are also entitled to have this, 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 and this. And luckily, they're all free for me in our system. So I go, just, shoot me up. um, but thank you for the reminder. Just be careful, everybody. And, I don't know about you, but why take the risk, right? If there is a vaccine to help protect you, uh, why take the risk? It would be my suggestion. The other thing is, if you were lonely last fall and winter, consider joining a club. I know it's difficult because of the weather and, you know, driving the car or whatever if you drive a car, but, it's like consider joining a club. Not because you want to get perfect at anything, just because of the interaction, and quite honestly, most community areas, have, um, you know, clubs that do crafts and they do all sorts of different things, and the price is very reasonable. And just say this is my investment in community. All right, that my social interaction. You go for a class once a week. You will learn something, but also you'll get to meet new people and you'll get to interact and you'll get to feel good about yourself. And I don't think I've ever joined a club where I haven't felt good about it. But the problem I have when I join a club is that, I'm a bit noisy in a club because, I get excited about things and so forth. The other thing I have a problem with is 9 times out of 10, I can do it pretty well. And then I can't tell you how many clubs, how many craft things I've gone to learn. And the people said to me, "You should be teaching this course. You're really good at this." And I go, "No, I just play. I experiment." Um, so learn something new this fall and Christmas and winter, right? Decide you're going to learn something new, or resurrect the cross stitch, resurrect the um, whatever. Jody will tell you, using our hands, if you've got arthritis, you can see probably that I've got arthritis of this finger. Can you see that? All right. It's misshapen. Also, you can see this pinky is a bit strange. So that makes holding things, scissors, very difficult. My coffee cup, very difficult. But what I've learned to do is not hold it with the joint anymore. I support it with the bottom one. Can you see what I mean? And I hold this with the second joint, not the first. There's a way. You will also know if it gets bad enough, I'll be drinking my coffee with my left hand. But I will keep drinking coffee. You do know that. It's change of season time, so I always ask myself, as you know, if you've been a long time viewer, one of the things I always look at the change of season, especially fall and spring, do I need new undies? Okay. And it's a good time to look at it. Do I need new undies? Now, the interesting thing for me, having had a mastectomy, is that I have now found that sports bras work really well for me with mastectomy. And so I actually bought a sports bra when I was shopping last week. And I was surprised that it was more comfortable than I thought it would be. So I will be investing in another one of those next month. I'll add it to my shopping list. But, get comfortable bras. And, if your bra isn't comfortable, the chances are it's probably about 4 inches too short for you. The other thing is, if you are buying any bras online, make sure they're made locally, or make sure that you read what size you need, because if they're coming out of Asia, their idea of a 2XL is not the same as our idea of a 2XL. All right. The difference is about 4 inches, sometimes 2 to 4 inches. I cannot tell you how much money I've wasted on bras coming out of there that just no ways will they fit. I'm literally going, it's meant to do up here. How come it only comes to here or here? And that, it's like this much too short. Now, if I put that on, what's it going to do to my body? No, it's not good. So that's the one thing I really do buy locally, as far as possible, because I want the measurement to be right. And then, how are you doing on Christmas presents? Are you ready? And if not, don't panic. All right. I started off by talking about Jeannie ordering up, a whole batch of soaps. What I thought was good about that, and Jeannie, just so that you know, if you want to, cut them in half. All right, because it's a good bar of soap, even if it's half a bar. And not that you need to necessarily, but what I'm saying is think about that. I think the most important thing is to understand that we don't have to spend a whole lot of money for people to know that we love them. I was going to ask that. That's in Kentucky, right? Kimmy's already had snow. And here I am saying we're expecting the first frost in early November. So, and Kimmy's already had snow. Wyoming. Why do I always think you're in Kentucky? Beth is in Kentucky. Anyway, so my question would be, why on earth do you live there? No, you know what I mean? It's just like, boy, if we had snow in October. Mind you, I will say this, that I can remember going up into northern British Columbia to do an event once, and it was in August. And I had my trailer with me, and I woke up in the morning to go to get in the car to get something out of the car, and there was frost on my windshield in August. And I went, there's no way I'm living in this place. Visit it maybe, but live here, no way. If they get frost in August, I mean, I had to take pictures, of the frost, because I knew nobody would believe me in my part of the world. It's just like, can you believe this? So there we go. Are you ready? That is the question. And if you're not, try not to overwhelm. I am busy. I don't know if you are noticing it, but I've cleared a lot of space on my countertop here. Actually, I'm busy putting things on it right now, but I am busy clearing my countertop off. And how am I doing that? I'm going, what has to be on there? All right. And so I realize that salt, pepper, and toothpicks, probably yes. But quite honestly, all the other things I had on my turntables, no. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out my corner cabinet there and put the turntables in there, and then put those other things in there so I can get to them easily. Another work in progress. That's another job for the winter. But I've got them off the top here. Now, I'm still on process. I need to get a new red kettle, or do I want to change my color scheme? The interesting thing that I found is that red kettles are difficult to come by. That's a thought. I realize that my Keurig is huge, And I'm pretty sure that when I next change over, I'm going to get a small one or a Nespresso one. I was so impressed with that Nespresso one when I was visiting Benji and Judy's Airbnb. I mean, it was just like, I like the coffee. So first I'm going to change to that coffee to see whether it's, just the coffee alone, in which case I can use it in my Keurig. But, they make pods of it. So I'm going to get some pods. Very expensive way to buy coffee. But once I know that they work, then I know I can buy the coffee and put it in my own pods. The other thing is, I still, have you thought about your pantry? Are you stocking up at all, restocking the pantry? I still have 2 cans of coffee up there, 3 cans of coffee up there, and then 3 boxes of Keurig type pods to go in there. Oh no, 4. 1, 2, 3. I've got 4. So I don't need coffee. Yes, that's very true. Kimmy's saying, I saw a video on YouTube that was about what their hotels do with their used soap. They send it to a place that, it mushes it all up and sanitizes it, it reuses it and sends it to Africa. So don't throw away your little leftover bits of soap. Let me give you another good use for it, all right? Just put it into a mason jar, just the little bits that are left, put it in a mason jar, put some water in there, and, it'll just all turn into goop. Hold on. You can probably see I put mine in here, and then this is already. Okay, so then what I do is I color it and use it for putting into my other soaps. That's eucalyptus. But literally, can you see that? I take the leftover bits of soap and then I use them for coloring. So you can tell that this one I didn't use because this is lemon ginger, but I did use some of this to get that high color. Can you see that there and there? And then this is clear, and then that's just white, and then some of this is on top of the white that bled down. I wonder if you can see what I'm talking about there. So reuse it, all right? Soap is a most cost-effective thing. The other thing I do with mine is I will take some of this, mix it with more water, and really mush it up well, and then use it in my pumps, like in here. Okay, so when I want to wash my hands, okay, just quickly, I can do that. Right, that's what pants are for. Yeah, so don't give it to anybody. I want to tell you, all my soaps, I sanitize them all anyway. The way that I use them is I actually will put this in the microwave for probably it ends up with about 6 minutes in the microwave in bits, but just so I can bring the temperature right up. Yeah, Kimmy's saying eucalyptus is good for colds and flu. It's good for respiratory. Yeah, I like to have it in my bathroom for that reason. So when I shower, it's cleaning out my sinuses. Uh, all right, Jeannie, I'm sorry I missed what that was about the red. Eucalyptus is so expensive. Yeah, and I think any of the fragrances are expensive. But to me, they're worth the money. I love how they make me feel. I want to tell you something. I was surprised uh, how much I like the lemon ginger. So thank you for ordering that, Kimmy. Um, I remember that it was good in another soap, but I would never have thought to put it in to one that I was going to use this uh, in my bathroom. But that's a really nice, fresh uh, smell. So there we go. All right, everybody. I hope this has made you aware of some of the things that we need to just get ready for the fall. And here is the easy thing: make the list and then just spend 10 minutes a day on that list. See, what I'm finding is what we do is we write this huge list and it's so overwhelming we don't do anything on it. So now what I do is each room has a list, right? This is what I know needs to be done on this list. I then remind myself if I drop down dead tomorrow, that stuff's not going to get done anyway. So, not the end of the world. So then I just go, what am I starting with? What's the number one that I think is the most important? And I start with that. And then every day I try to spend 10 minutes in each room just cleaning it up. All right. I no longer try to do everything at the same time. In the morning, when I get up, I go to each room and just make sure I've tidied it. And how do I tidy it? I take those cubies with me. Each room has a cubie. And I just put what belongs in that room into a cubie, or rather, what belongs in that room, I put away. What doesn't belong in the room goes in the cubie, and I pick the cubie up and I take it to the next room. And if it's got anything that belongs in the laundry, then that goes into the laundry. What doesn't belong in the laundry goes into the cubie. And I walk through the house like that. Do you understand the principle? What I am amazed at is how well that has helped me. Because it's just constantly, the rooms are getting tidier all the time. Plus, I am not keeping as much crud. And as the cubie keeps moving around from room to room, I'm keeping each room much more clear of clutter. So I recommend that. I'm still working at it. Yeah, Kimmy's saying, especially if you're sick, it's hard to clean and just do what I can. Absolutely. And that's why I'm saying that I also know that some days, I've been really busy or whatever. If I've lost something, I go to the cubie first because the chances are it's sitting in that cubie waiting to be put away. All right. But what it does, Kimmy, is you don't have to work as hard, right? Because anything that doesn't belong on this countertop goes in the cubie. Right? I've still got stuff. Obviously, I've got to clear it away now because I put stuff on here during the broadcast. But that's what I do. What does not belong on this countertop? And what I really know, because I've done it, is if I look at each of my countertops and imagine I'm going to put the house up to be shown, what would I have on a countertop? And what do we know? One flat surface, one item. So that's fine. Where the stove is, that's fine. That is fine where the air fryer is. I've got way too much junk over here. So I'm going to be working on that. And that's why it's all there. It needs to be washed and so forth. So that's why it's all there at the moment. All right. But that's what I keep doing is I don't have to be perfect at it. Just every day, can I put one more thing away? Just one more. You know, can I know that I've got, that's my powdered milk for my latte for my coffee, right? So that's why those three are there. But should the powdered milk be in the cupboard? The machine has to stay out. That machine needs to stay out, right? So that's the one thing I could do is to put the powder into the cupboard. So if you just, it's not that you have to do it. It's like, can you do it? And if you can, do you understand? You're going to end up with a much cleaner environment. And that what happens is we get so much clutter on it. And I'm the first to know about this because I'm good with clutter. We get so much clutter going on that it's overwhelming. Then I don't want to do it at all. The other thing I am now considering is to buy extra cushions for my futon where I do Billy the Bike, and for my where I sit on doing the computer, so that I don't have to sit down as low as I do in my couches. Either that or I'm putting my couches up. My futon I've already raised, but I'm thinking of raising my couch up by 4 inches. And if I did that, it would be much easier on my hips. Actually, I seem to remember that wasn't that expensive to do. It just meant that I had to wait until somebody came to visit me to be able to lift up the end of the couch and put the bits underneath it. So, and again, I might do it for both my couches so that they're both that size. Think about these things. And by the way, this list, now that I've written it, is going into my day timer for 2024. All right? For 2024. That way, I don't have to write the list again next year. Now, you and I both know I probably will rewrite it so that it's, by month, whatever. But I've written the list. That's what I need to think about every year at this time. And the reason I don't buy a day timer that's solid is so that I can add things like this to it, right? And by the way, I'm also doing that this year. I am building the perfect day timer for me because I keep seeing bullet journals and I love bullet journals, but then I also know that I need this, 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 and this. And so month by month, and I don't care if it takes me 5 years to perfect it, I keep asking myself, what is working in this day timer and what isn't? And I just redesign it and keep working with it. I've got way too much in there. So I'm now considering having my day timer that just has the months and years in it, and then having a separate one, which is the goals, where things like this would go, all right, as opposed to keeping it all in the one binder. And I have a binder this size, right? And I'm trying to really concentrate on doing what's on the list, not getting sidetracked. Discipline is hard to learn, people. But I can tell you one thing from my experience. The discipline of doing 6,000 steps a day is making me stronger because I'm doing the weights as well. I'm definitely changing shape. All right. I had, even after the carb day, I know that I probably will have put on weight this month because of the carb day. But I know that I just don't want to keep doing that through the winter. So I'm going to behave myself for a few more weeks, all right, and get that weight back down again and then carry on going down. We know that our weight begins and ends in the kitchen. So you all know that I have a routine of what I eat now. All right, and before the broadcast, I took out my daily bread. Here it is. This is my pita for the day. And I'm about to put the put the air fryer on and turn that into a nice pita. I'm going to stuff that with cheese and cucumber. And that is my brunch. I haven't had anything to eat yet. And that's my brunch. And then I will have dinner tonight. All right. I've managed to get, Jody taught me this one, right? I've managed to get myself down to eating basically 2 meals a day and then a couple of snacks in between. And that's a meal. I consider this to be a meal. I have definitely increased my fruit and vegetables, particularly fruit. Fruit has high sugar, which, again, if you're not eating a whole lot of other carbs, my body can absorb it. So, it's about learning what you can do and what you can't do. Jody, I will constantly thank you for what you taught me, because there is no doubt about it. I have definitely learned so much from your input about how to be pre-diabetic and still eat well, really well. So there you go, everybody. Remember, there's no point having the list if you're not working on it. And by the way, if you've got a list, only look at the list once a week. That's my recommendation. I now have these sort of things. I look at them once a week and then schedule a couple of things to do during the week. I don't keep looking at this list. I will just be overwhelmed. So I just decide what's important for this week. And I pick one thing for my house, I have categories, one thing for my house, one thing for my admin, one thing for my health, one thing for my deck, one thing for my garden, one thing for my, you know what I mean? I just pick one thing to work on. I end up doing a whole lot more because I've read the list and part of it stays in my brain. But it's just, can I do that one thing? And if so, my house will be that much better. In other words, I can choose not to do the closet. But you and I both know that closet has not been emptied since I moved back after the fire. That's 2 years ago now, right? I think. So to me, it's like it's time for that closet to be emptied out and sorted out. I have taken a lot of stuff out of there and already donated it, and I'm pleased about that. By the way, these pants I'm wearing today are not I have not worn these since I came to this house. Right? So look at this, and I've got room. Which means that Billy the bike is actually doing work, and the work I'm doing is doing work on my legs, no doubt, because I have not been able to wear these since I came here. And now look at it. I've got a good inch on either side. So little exercise on a regular basis does help. All right. And my thing is this: if I can get 6,000 steps in, I'm happy. I'm now working on 6,500. That's my goal, is to average 6,500. Yeah, Jody's saying, Sal, that's awesome. I know how dedicated you've been. It's lovely to see the rewards. Well, Jody, that's why I know that you've been really sick, and I know that you've had all sorts of issues going on. But, I also believe that it's helped my mental health as well. All right. It's just like, have I got, that's what I ask myself. Have I got the discipline to stop sitting here and looking at my computer? And have I got the discipline to go sit at Billy the bike? By the way, I got a stretch strap for my watch so I can take it off my hand and put it on my foot so that it's doing the pedal easily, way easier. The other thing is, a stretch strap does not, this is stretch elastic, and I haven't had any problems with my skin breaking out. Those silicone straps, I find that my skin gets really itchy with them. With this, not at all. So that was worth the investment of doing that. And I like the fact I can take it out and put it on my foot quickly for when I'm doing the biking. which leaves both my hands free, which means that while I'm biking, I can binge watch and use my phone. If you could see me, you'd just crack up. Talk about multitasking. Plus I have a notepad with me. It's just like a half an hour of half watching something. But it's working for me. And I've got to remember how much work. Funny enough, I'm wearing this shirt that I did. Remember when I did the marathon, the 5K rather of the marathon. 5K was part of the marathon. I remember that I did this while I was in lockdown, or I trained for it while I was in lockdown, just by walking while I was watching television. All right, just literally going like this while I watch television. Not even taking my toes off the ground, just going like this. And so if you're saying, oh, weather's too bad, no, it isn't. You can do this watching television. All right. And if you can't do half an hour, if you haven't got that, what do you call it, endurance, then do 10 minutes 3 times a day. And if you don't, it's because you choose not to. You will always do Jody, how many times have you heard me say that? You will always do what you want to do, and you will always have an excuse for what you don't want to do. Jody says, I see how dedicated you've been. Why? Because every day she will get a note from me that says, I'm off to go and talk to Billy the bike. Be back later. She knows it's part of my day, because round about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, somewhere in there, I will see how many steps have I done? Have I done enough? No, it's time for Billy the bike. All right. It's part of my routine. And normally it's somewhere either just before I eat dinner or after I eat dinner. All right. It's like it's part of my day now. Have I done enough steps? And by the way, my watch reminds me to drink water every hour. And now I'm doing that. It just did that. And I don't have water here, so I'll drink some more liquid. Jody's saying, so true. You make time for what is a priority. I'll tell Lionel that the time does not just magically appear. That's why I said to you, if you want anything done, put it into your day timer at a given time. I know every day now at 4 o'clock, I work out what am I eating for dinner. I already know because I've planned it. But, have I got it out of the freezer? Have I got the vegetables, just ready to get cut up and everything? All right. I just take a couple of minutes at 4 o'clock so I know exactly what I'm going to have. But at the beginning of the week, I plan what I'm going to have. So I will have just categories, right? I'm going to have steak one day. I'm probably going to have shepherd's pie or spaghetti bolognese or something with using ground beef, right? One day. I'm going to have poultry, either chicken or turkey. I'm going to have a ramen day. What I do is I cook up ramen and add vegetables and a little bit of bacon to it. All right. Maybe one day I'll have mac and cheese, but I actually know, and I have all 7 of them there. And as I go through the week, I just cross off the next one. Pork. I'll have pork. So it's like I don't want to think. I want to just do. Today is my pork day. Whatever. Yesterday was steak. It was so good. And I've got half of it left over. So guess what? I will probably do ramen tonight and add lots of vegetables and then throw the little bits of steak that I've got left. Yeah, this is the steak I've got left. We'll go over the top with just some sauce over the top of that. And guess what? Very nice meal. I accidentally bought a big tub of feta. And what I found out is you can freeze feta. Did anybody know that? So I cut it into about 6 slabs like this, and I froze most of it. And I didn't know that. Boy, that was a cost saving. I'll do the math for you and tell you on Sunday. This is DearMamaSal saying, Things don't happen by accident. They happen because we think about them. They happen because we plan them. They happen because we do what is on the list. And that the lists are short enough. Think about that the lists are short enough that you can do them in a day. Think about that. The lists are short. I try not to have more than 6 things on my list every day. And then I slot 1 an hour. All right. So I only have things for 6 hours of my 24. And my goal is to get rid of that 6. What I do over and above that is fine. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, reasonable lists. I want to tell you, it's been a mind changer. That and carrying the QB with me from room to room and just spending literally 15 minutes in the morning tidying things in each room. Just quickly go through what doesn't belong here, into the QB, next room. Anything in the QB that belongs in this room? Yes, put it in this one's QB. All right, and then tidy up. And then and then I go in and next time I'm in there, I put all my washing on my bed. After I've washed it, I just straighten it up and put it on my bed. I don't put it away immediately. You know why? Every time I go to the washroom, because I use that washroom, I come out and I see all the clothes on the bed and I go, I just need to put one outfit together. Beth taught me that. Hang your clothes in outfits so you don't have to think. All right. You don't have to wear that. I sometimes have 2 or 3 options for what shirt can I wear with this. All right. But the thing is this, have it as an outfit. So you're not pulling out, well, I'm going to wear that, but what shall I wear with it? I do that as I put them away. They're in outfits. And then I have them in order. All right. This is the one I haven't worn for quite a while because I keep adding to the right. Oh, I could go on forever. This is DearMamaSal saying, have a wonderful week. Have a weekend. And I'll see you on Sunday where we'll talk about coping with stress. And Jeannie, just so you know, they're all wrapped now. I'm just doing all the shrink wrapped rather. And now I'm putting on the labels, as you saw. All right, the labels are going on. And I've just put the soaps in here for you, Jeannie, which soaps are in there. And obviously the fact that it's got ginger and all the other things, right? So those are on the back. And please know that every one of these has got aloe in it. And some people are allergic to aloe. So I'm going to throw you in a couple of soaps that don't have aloe in case you've got anybody on your list that can't take aloe. Clever shopping. This is DearMamaSal, about to make my pita for the day and thoroughly enjoy it. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jody. And Jeannie.